Okay, so I just did the oil change, 600-mile service oil change, and I'm going on a short little ride, make sure everything is buttoned up correctly. So I did it at looks like 675 miles. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to be talking a lot in this video, so if you don't like my voice, you can just mute it. A couple of things was involved in doing the oil change. Number one, or at least the first service, number one is whether doing my own first service would avoid the warranty or not. And I did a couple things. One is that I checked the warranty manual, and the wording is kind of interesting. It more or less just suggests or highly recommends that that you service the vehicle at an Aprilia service center or dealership, but it doesn't say you have to. The wording is, I think, done on purpose that way. And then I called Piaggio, the parent group, actually got a hold of someone and spoke to that individual, and he confirmed that you don't need to do it at a dealership in order to maintain the warranty. So with that, or with those two things, I decided to do it myself. The other thing that I found frustrating was, you may or may not know, I have two Aprilia dealerships relatively close to me. They're like 30 minutes away in opposite directions. And the first dealership is where I bought the vehicle from. And again, if you've seen my other videos, I kind of feel like I got gypped by them, so I don't want to go back to them. And then the other dealership, I actually was trying to call to schedule the first service appointment, and they wouldn't pick up. You know, it was during working hours, and I'm calling them, and it just keeps on going to voicemail, which I found annoying. So then at the same time, I call Piaggio, which is like the headquarter, whatever, representative in New York. I'm in California, so that's a 3-hour difference. And the guy immediately picks up there. And so I ask him, hey, you know, would I avoid the warranty by doing the service myself? He says, no, absolutely not. Why don't you, what the hell is going on today? So he just says, make sure you document everything and all that, put it in the service book, and you're good to go. What is this guy doing? And so right there, after that phone call, I just decided to do it myself. So the first thing I had to do was get a center stand. So I promptly ordered that, in addition to oil, filter, and a new crush washer. All from AF1 Racing. I think they're in Texas or something like that. Anyways, they're great. Did it online. I also ordered their service manual. There's a service manual that's downloadable, so I did that. Hoping to see if they had anything about resetting the service light that's right there, little wrench-looking thing. And I haven't scrubbed it all the way through to find out. I also talked to that Piaggio representative and asked him about that, and he said, I think you might have to take it to the dealership and have them just reset it. So I might do that at some point to see if they're willing to do that for free, just reset that. I don't really care, honestly. It doesn't really bother me. I don't Alright, so I had to order the center stand. I waited for that. Everything arrived fine. And I went ahead and installed the center stand. I might do no, I decided I'm not going to do it. I'm going to clip in a short little video of what I need to do in order to put the center stand on. You actually have to remove the kickstand and put it aside, and then install the center stand. In that process, you need some way of centering the bike and holding it while you're installing the center stand. So the thought occurred to have my daughter and my wife hold the bike while I do that. I thought about it, and I think they'd be willing to do so, but I'm glad I didn't do it that way, because it's a little bit more involved. You have to go back and forth from one side to the other, and you have to lay down on the ground. And I'm really glad I did it the way I did. I suspended the bike on a chin-up bar that I had using some tie straps, or ratcheting straps. I thought it was ingenious. I even took a video of it, and it worked out great. I was really glad I did it that way, because again, if my wife and my daughter had to hold the bike for that long, it took a while, and right next to it was like my other vehicle, and the other side would have been just whatever, but it would have put a lot of pressure on them to not drop the bike. So anyways, that's like a pro tip for all you guys who want to get a center stand and install it yourself. You have to figure out a way to hold that bike upright for a while. Oh, there's a lot of traffic, man. While you install the center stand. It's pretty straightforward, but again, a lot less stress if you don't have someone holding the bike. Alright, so I got the center stand, and then remove the engine guard, the bash shield, and follow the directions for the most part. It says in the service directions, it says to ride the motorcycle to warm it up versus just letting it idle. If that's in caps for some odd reason, it says literally not to let it idle to warm it up, to actually go ride it. So I did that, got it up to temp, and then went ahead and did the oil change. I posted the video for the oil change. I also took some time to actually figure out how to edit in the GoPro app, and I think that came out pretty well. I'll probably be doing that going forward, so you guys don't have to suffer through endless amounts of just video footage. Try to just clip in all the good parts. Alright, so that went all well. The oil change was super straightforward. The only annoying thing at the very end was checking the oil. I swear the dipstick is ridiculous. I don't know how anyone would possibly be able to check that. Like, and this is a general thing about all dipstick. I don't know what the hell is going on. Any dipstick that I've had over the course of all the vehicles and motorcycles I've owned, it's always been difficult to check the oil. I don't know. It's not me, I don't think, because it's across the, or maybe it is me, but it's like it's never 100%. Look at this shit. What the? It's never 100% easy. So anyway, so I have a complaint about that. I just basically guessed and hoped for the best that I put the right amount of oil. The service book says to put, it was like 2300 cc's, and I had to do the conversion to quarts, and it converted over to basically 2.4 quarts. So if you see at the very end of the video, it's a little over a half, so I just estimated that amount. My dad, who was a master mechanic, always told me not to overfill oil. That was a big pet peeve of his, so I tend to fill less than more. So that's where I left it at. The overall experience of doing it myself was very satisfying, just because I don't like giving any automobile or motorcycle to a service tech to work on, especially with what's available on YouTube and online and whatever service manuals that you can purchase. You should be able to do it yourself. I mean, I get it if you're not mechanically inclined, that's fine, and you don't have much of a choice, but that's something I've always enjoyed doing. And like I said, my dad was a mechanic, so I kind of learned it from him. So anyways, I had some other things to talk about. I can't remember exactly what it is that I want to talk about. Oh, this is where I decided it was going to be something like that. So mark my edits. Oh! Yeah, so the other thing, once you get the center stand, if you're like me and you've never put a bike up on a center stand, just you know, trying to do it, it may not be successful, because you know, I thought you had to rock it back, get some momentum, and actually like rock it back onto the center stand. Turns out that's not the case. I actually Googled it. If you haven't seen this channel, it's called Canyon Chasers, I think, something like this. There's a guy on there, I don't know what his name is, but he's really cool. And he does a great job just explaining stuff about motorcycles. And he actually had a video where it kind of went viral, where there's a kid in his driveway that would, on their whatever walks, you know, do a little section of his driveway, and he ended up marking out like a little racetrack type thing, and it became like pretty popular. It went viral because it actually came on a commercial, so let you know it's pretty popular, like TV commercial. But anyways, he's really cool. I like his attitude. It's pretty humble. It just talks factual and just like, anyway, so he talked about how to properly put a bike on a center stand, and it was great. You don't have to muscle it, just use some fundamentals. I don't know if maybe I'll clip in a little demonstration. You basically just pull up, push down on the peg with your leg and pull straight up. And he was saying you don't have to be like a huge guy, and I'm not like huge in any stretch of the imagination, and I was able to do it pretty easily. Alright, so that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, was the center stand. Oh man, I think that's it. I think that is it. It does feel nice to be back on the bike. I wasn't riding for a while because I was waiting for the center stand and the oil and whatnot from AF1 Racing. I didn't want to put more miles on the bike, kind of get out of that window of first service. The oil was pretty dirty, as oils go, so I definitely needed it. There wasn't a lot of shavings, you can't see it on the video, but there wasn't a lot of shavings on the magnet piece from the drain plug. Oh, the other thing on the video, you might see how I tightened it a little bit more than spec. So the spec is 20 Newton meters, and that's what I did it initially, and I swear it's not in the video, but I tightened it by hand. And I take the torque wrench to it, and it's like I barely do anything, and it's already there. And I'm like, this can't be something that you can just hand tight. I mean, that crush washer has the crush, so I kicked it up 5 newtons, went into it, you know, like as if I knew what I was doing. I was just kind of like torqued it a little bit more, tightened it, and it came out to an even 25. So that's what I decided to do, and I just left it. Yeah, that's it on that. Oh yeah. So, anyways, it's nice to get back on the bike. Oh, there's another comment that had said that he had the taller seat and he loves it. And I actually would prefer, I think, a taller seat. Just in the seated position, my legs feel a little bit cramped with this lowered seat, and I would prefer a taller seat. But then on the stops, and if I do have to dab a foot or, you know, stop and then put my feet down, I think I would not like that taller seat. So basically, I'm going to keep my my original seat, and yeah, I might switch back to that at some point in the future. And I say that because there's another commenter that was like, hey, if you get the lowered seat, I call dibs on your on the OEM seat. And I would have given it to him, and I said I would, but I kind of feel like I might regret that because I might go back to that original seat. So sorry if you're listening. I tend to be a man of my word, especially when I type it in a comment. But I'm gonna have to hold on to that seat until I know for sure that I don't want it. And his reasoning was he didn't want that red. He had a red one. He didn't want that red stripe. So that's just a cosmetic thing. So we should be able to get used to that or whatever. If he was like, I ripped up my seat, or there's some like legit reason for him to not be able to get a seat or whatever, I would have probably done it. Bike feels good. Could be the new oil. Feels smooth. I don't know if you guys have changed oil yourself or gotten an oil change. The car or the bike always feels slightly different. That only lasts about the first ride anyways, but I feel like I can tell it's smooth. Alright, so I was going to demonstrate how to put the bike on like a center stand. I'll do a quick little walk around so you can enjoy how good the bike looks. I'll talk about it right now, and I'll put the helmet down so you can watch me do it. So the steps are, you need a flat level surface. You put this down and make sure both pegs, this peg and the other peg here, are on the ground. And then with the kickstand extended and in neutral, you're going to press down on this and pull straight up, so just down with your foot and then straight up with your hand, and that's how you do it. It should be pretty straightforward. So I'm going to take my helmet off. Hopefully this will come out. I have no idea. Alright, so that's how you do it. And then how you take it off is you just rock it, and it just pushes forward on the forward rock. Again, the guy on the channel recommends that the kickstand is down both times. Probably because if you lose its balance, you can swing it over. Alright, so basically start rocking it, and then there you go. It's up. and then I'll put it down so I can make sure I'm squared away.